Hey guys, it's Ami here and welcome. So today I'll show you how we can build a fully functioning JavaScript accordion, and in this tutorial you'll learn about selecting elements on the DOM, for each loops, event listeners, and toggling class lists. So this is what we're going to do. As you can see, I can press on the tab 1 and it will open the information, and if I press the tab 3 it closes the tab 1 and opens the tab 3. So let's get going. So let's start. I just have here some CSS for our body so we can center the accordion here without having any issue with it. So to start, I'm going to have an h1 and just going to be the title. I'm just going to call it accordion just so we can have something here. And I'm also going to have a div that it's actually going to be our accordion itself. So yeah, that's it here. And now inside this accordion, I'm going to have an accordion item, and I'm going to do it with a div, and I can just call it class equals accordion item. I prefer to use the camel cases for this, and closing the div here. So on this accordion item we want to have the tab name, so the first part that just opens. I'm going to just call it tab 1 and close it, and I actually want to have a class here. It's going to have the class of accordion title, and then I want to have a div for all the info that I want to display or not display inside our body. So all I'm going to do is just create a div here. It's going to be a div here with, let's say, a paragraph that just tells me information here, and that's pretty much all that we need to do here. So inside this div I actually want to give it also a class name. I prefer to work with classes like this. I'm just going to call it accordion content. And now we actually want to reproduce this accordion item 3 more times like this, and just going to change the information here to accordion 2 and accordion 3. We save this, and as you can see, now we have all the information here that we might want. Oh, I just noticed that we're having some CSS problems here because I didn't close the h1 tag here, and now it should be good. Yeah, now it looks a lot better. So I know that right out of the start I want to close this information content here, and we're going to do that with some CSS. We're going to start by... So the first thing that I want to do is to give the user some notion that they can click on this tab 1, tab 2 or tab 3, and that something would happen. So the first thing that I want to do is just to do accordion title and do cursor pointer. And now if I save, and you'll see that when I hover over the tab 1, it will just allow me to, the cursor changes, and that's basically all I want. I also want to not have this highlighting happening here, and that's really quick to do. I can just do mouse user select. This is for different browsers, because different browsers have different ways of doing this, and we need to actually use all of them. I'm just seeing my cheat sheet for this, so there's no need for you to know all of these on your mind. And if we save this now, as you can see now when I double click, the text doesn't get highlighted, and that's actually what I want. So now we want to hide the accordion content, and what we're going to do here, it's just do accordion title. I'm going to do the plus sign, the plus selector for CSS, and basically this CSS selector, what it does, it means that it's going to select the element that I'm going to specify here that comes right after accordion title. In our case, what comes after accordion title is, and if we put just here accordion content, it's going to target the first accordion content that exists here. So if I would duplicate here another accordion content, this CSS rule wouldn't influence anything on this accordion content, just the first one. And that's actually what I want to do here. So let's remove this, and what we want to have here is just display none. And as you can see, now it's completely hidden. And now that we have our content hidden, it's time for the JavaScript, and it's going to be pretty easy, trust me. So let's just push this here because we're not going to need the HTML for longer now. So the first thing that we want to do, we want to select all the accordion titles. All of these tabs here, we want to select them. And to do that, we can just do like this, accordion titles equals document dot query selector all, and just select basically all the items that have accordion title in it. I prefer to give them the variables the names of the things that they're fetching or doing. It gets a lot easier to read, so now you know that we're just getting accordion titles here. Now we're basically getting all the accordion titles, and this piece of code grabs all the elements from it and returns a node list. You can think of a node list as an object that has a collection of nodes that in this case it's going to be our elements that have accordion title in it. So if you would console log accordion titles, you will get just h2 with the class name. It's pretty easy to use. You can think of it for this case as an array, because we're going to use a for each loop for it. And we're going to do accordion titles dot for each, and I'm going to use an arrow function here because I prefer them. And on this for each, you need to name the item that you're doing. People usually just call it item, but I want to make everything very clear about what we're doing. So I'm just going to call it accordion title because we're iterating over each accordion title on this object that we have, this node list that we have. And yeah, I want to make sure that people understand what I'm doing. Now, inside these brackets, we already know that we want to, when I click on tab 1 or tab 2 or tab 3, I want something to happen. And the way we can tell by our code that we want something to happen, it's just to tell that on each accordion title, I want to add an event listener, and this event listener is going to be a click. It can be a lot of other stuff, but in this case we want a click. And I'm going to use another arrow function here. And what will we actually want to happen here? So I know that what I want to happen here, since I'm already controlling if the accordion content is displaying based on our accordion title, what I want to do in my way of thinking here, my approach here, is that if I'm hiding my accordion content based on accordion title, I'm also going to show the accordion content based on my accordion title. So I want to change my accordion title somehow that allows for the accordion content to just show. And the way that I do that, it's by adding a new class to accordion title, by adding something different or removing something from our accordion title that basically allows us to do another CSS rule here. And this is how I'm going to do it. So I want to say that when I click on accordion title, when I click on it, I want to toggle a class list, a class that is going to be isOpen. So basically, and if you will check your dev tools here, when I'm clicking on tab 1 or tab 2 or tab 3, I'm adding or removing, because if it already had the tab 1 class, it will remove also the class, but I can show you this with CSS. So what I can do is select my accordion title and say that basically when you don't, if I will do this, I don't know how familiar you are with CSS, but if I will do this, I will say that the parent has accordion title, and inside the accordion title, the element, any child that has isOpen would have a rule. If you don't have a space there, it means that the element that has accordion title and that has the isOpen. So basically we're just targeting our tabs here. Let's just say that I'm adding color blue to them. I'm going to press save, and as you can see, tab 1 has the isOpen class right now because it's toggling between having it and not having it. And if I press again, it removes the isOpen class. If I add it, it makes the isOpen class again. It adds the class, and I can do this to all of them. And now all of them don't have it. So that's basically what we're doing here. We're modifying the classes for our accordion title, and by doing that, we can add a new rule of CSS that basically says if the accordion title also has the isOpen class, then I want for the first element that comes right after the accordion title that has the class of accordion content, I want to display as a block. And if I save this now, and if I push this up, and if I click on tab 1, now it shows. So basically we're at the point that we actually have an accordion working. And as you can see, I can click it and it adds the isOpen class, and by adding the isOpen class, it falls into this CSS rule, which means that the accordion content is going to have the display block. So as you can see, it's working. But I want something else to happen. I want to, when I'm clicking on tab 1 and I have the information here, if I'm clicking on tab 2, I want this tab 1 to close completely. I don't want two tabs showing at the same time. This would work, and basically you have an accordion with 7 lines of JavaScript here, but I want something else to happen. So let's remove this, okay? Let's go even further by removing it. So let's push this down again, and we're not going to need any CSS here. We're only going to need our JavaScript here. So the first thing that we want to do is to remove this toggle, because we're toggling, but we don't have a lot of control over it. I'm going to want an if-else statement here. And basically this if-else statement is going to tell me that if the accordion has the isOpen class, I want to remove it, and if it doesn't, I'm going to add it. It's basically doing the same thing as the toggle here. This is else that I'm going to do, but we're going to add some other stuff to our else statement here. So let's start it by doing the if, and just say that if the accordion title dot class list dot contains isOpen, then I want to accordion item class list contains, I'm going to remove this class. So basically we're saying that when I click on the tab 1 or tab 2 or tab 3, if they already have the isOpen, then I'm removing them. I don't want this parentheses here. And that would work if we also add the else statement that basically says accordion title dot class list dot add isOpen. And I don't want this point here because it's already a class. Does this make sense to you? So basically we're saying the same thing. I don't think I have the toggle here anymore, but we're saying that if the element has the isOpen, and I also don't want this here, if it has the isOpen, then I want to remove it. But if it doesn't have it, then I want to add it, and basically the accordion is working again, just like with our toggle. But now, like I said, I want to, when I click on tab 1 and it's open, if I'm clicking on tab 2, I want this tab 1 to close. And it's going to be pretty easy to do. We're going to do it with another for each loop. And basically what we're going to do is to else, on the else, that basically says that I'm going to add the isOpen, I'm going to do something like this. I'm going to grab all the accordion titles with isOpen. I'm going to just get all the with the query selector, we're going to get all the elements with isOpen. And now that we have all the elements with it, that it should be only one, but in any case it will work better if we just do this. Now that we all have all of them, I just want to say that I'm just going to do a for each loop for it. So basically I'm going to create a new for each loop, and I'm just going to write here accordion title with isOpen, and I'm going to on each accordion title with isOpen that actually has the isOpen class, I'm going to go to class list dot remove. Just going to remove the class again. So basically what we're doing here is that if the element has the isOpen, when we click on it, we're going to remove it. Else, if the element that we're clicking doesn't have the isOpen, we're going to want to add it, but before we add it, we want to remove it from any other element that might have it. And that's basically what we're doing here. We're getting all the elements that already have the isOpen class, and we're doing a loop on each of them and removing the isOpen. And now if you press on H1, we have a console error. Okay, that's why we have an error here. Just save this for each again, and now when we press the tab 1, it's going to open, and the expected behavior is that when I press the tab 2, it's going to close the tab 1, and it does. So now we have a fully functioning accordion, and that's pretty cool. If you have any doubts about this for each versus the map, they basically work the same way. The map just creates a new array that you can change and do anything to it, and the for each is something that you do if you want to interact with the current array that you have, which is my case. I don't want to create a copy of it and change it. I want to work directly with what I have. That's basically it. And also I don't have to return anything inside my for each loop. I can just do this as it is. So yeah, we're pretty much done. So you click on one, and you click on the other, and it closes the first one. And in 16 lines, we can probably reduce the lines if we reduce the white space here. We pretty much have a completely functional accordion, JavaScript accordion. And now I would like to challenge you to do something different. So using what we've learned so far, I want you to add a new button here, say, and collapse all button, and by pressing one of these buttons, so if I would press this open all button, all of these tabs would open, and if I would click on collapse all of these tabs would close. So yeah, if you're up for the challenge, just try it out. Duplicate the code that I'm going to leave in the description. It's going to be on the code pan. It's a really awesome tool to use for your code. Add your own twist to it and try to complete the challenge. And tweet it to me at @itsame. I'm going to leave it on the screen. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more JavaScript content. And feel free to comment any doubts or any other suggestions for future videos that you might have.